So in our previous videos about debugging, we've talked about breakpoints, and we learned that you can set a breakpoint by clicking over here on the gray margin, and you can release breakpoints by clicking off of them again. There's no limit to the number of breakpoints that you can have in an application. They just have to be centered on a line of code that executes. So you can have as many breakpoints in your application as you want, and as you click off of them, you will remove them. At any point when you run your application with multiple breakpoints, the application is going to run to the first breakpoint, and then you can step into the code from there, or you can click Continue, which is what the Start button changes to if you're in debug mode, and the application will run to the next breakpoint that's available in the logic. If you have several breakpoints in your code and you don't want to go through and manually unclick all of them, you can come up to the debug window and delete all breakpoints or disable all breakpoints, which will remove all of the breakpoints in your code so that you don't have to hunt them down one by one and uncheck them. There's also the ability to run to the cursor location. So instead of setting a breakpoint, if you're already at the line of code that you want to stop at, right-click and choose Run to Cursor. This will have Visual Studio run the application to the point that you've set, break just like it would on a breakpoint, and then you still get the same debug options of step into, step over, and step out. Another useful feature is the Run to Specified function by name. And so the problem that we have in our C# applications is that they're often quite large and will contain many files of classes and methods. And so if you know what the name of the method is that you want to evaluate or break at, but you're not sure where it is, you can come to the debug menu and choose New Breakpoint and Break at Function. In the function box, type the name of a method that you want to break at so you can evaluate it. So in this case, I have the doMath method. When you click OK, Visual Studio is going to find the method and automatically set a breakpoint for us so that we can run and break when that method is called so we can evaluate it. It's important to note with breakpoints that when you are stopped on a breakpoint line and it's highlighted in yellow, that line has not actually been executed yet. Visual Studio is telling you with the yellow arrow, which is highlighting the statement to execute, which item it will be doing next. So in this case, line 18, where we've set the breakpoint, has not been evaluated yet. And so if we look at the console window, we can see that nothing has been written. You can move this yellow arrow while you're stopped in debug to choose which statement should actually execute next. So if I wanted to skip line 18 and not do this statement, but still perform the actions on line 20, I can move this arrow down off of line 18 so that my next statement on line 20 is the one to be performed. If I click Continue, you can see that only one set of numbers is printed instead of two before it goes down and runs the doMath method and prints the number 10. Because we skipped line 18 by moving the statement arrow and setting line 20 as the next statement to execute. So by using each one of these features, you're able to dig into your code, evaluate where a problem may be occurring, and be able to determine the correct solution or logical steps that need to be taken in order to correct the code so that if you're having exceptions or problems during runtime, they can be corrected.